When I found out Ryan had gotten married again and even bought a house in his new city, that's when it truly sank in. He wasn't coming back. He wasn't going to call me, wasn't going to realise he'd made a mistake. And the strange thing, people always ask me if I regret it. 8 years of the same routine, the same conversations, the same predictable life. And I'm supposed to regret finally feeling alive again? Ryan thinks I betrayed him. Maybe I did, but maybe I just figured out too late what I actually wanted. I'm Claire. I'm 32 years old, and I need to say this out loud because honestly, I don't really have anyone else who would understand. Most of my friends are busy with their marriages and kids, or they live too far away now. My parents, they just lecture me. So here I am, telling you. Ryan and I met at work. I was handling office billing and he worked in facilities. 2 different departments, 2 completely different jobs. But we kept crossing paths. At first, I thought it was coincidence, but then I realised he actually went out of his way to check in. He noticed details no one else did. Like if I seemed stressed, he'd show up with a coffee. If I had a tough day, he'd crack a little joke to make me smile. At 24, that kind of attention felt romantic. Looking back now, maybe it was a little clingy. But at the time, it swept me off my feet. We started dating, and not long after, I moved into his tiny apartment. It was cosy, safe, like slipping into something comfortable at the end of a long day. After 2 years, we bought a house together, a white fence, a mortgage, the whole grown-up package. Everyone said we were the perfect couple. Ryan loved hearing that, and honestly, I kind of loved it too. For a while. Our life fell into this rhythm. Mornings with coffee, weekends filled with errands and house projects, the occasional movie night. Ryan was always thinking ahead, planning little improvements, setting little goals. And me, I started to feel smothered. We talked about kids sometimes, but I always said, not yet. The truth was, I couldn't even handle the life we already had. He was content. I was restless. The safer things felt, the more I wanted to run. That restlessness grew into frustration. I started picking fights over the smallest things. Dirty dishes, the wrong grocery brand, even which movie to watch. And the worst part, he never fought back. He'd just apologise, try to make it right. That should have been a blessing, but instead it made me angrier. I wanted passion, not peace. Everyone adored Ryan. My parents thought he was perfect. My friends would say, "You're so lucky." Even strangers seemed to notice how much he cared about me. But instead of feeling grateful, I felt trapped. Every kind thing he did was like another rope tying me down. And then Alex came along. It started with harmless work messages, quick notes, casual chats. But before I knew it, we were talking about ambitions, frustrations, dreams I hadn't admitted to anyone in years. Where Ryan was steady and routine, Alex was bold, opinionated, unpredictable. He challenged me. He made me feel alive again. When Alex suggested meeting in person, I didn't hesitate. I told Ryan it was a training trip and he actually helped me pack. He ironed my shirts while I secretly planned an affair. I should have felt guilty, but instead I felt electric. That weekend with Alex was like stepping into a different life. He was confident, exciting, worldly. We talked for hours, laughed like I hadn't laughed in years, and I convinced myself this was what I'd been missing all along. Coming back home felt like going from colour back to black and white, but Alex's attention didn't last. His texts got shorter, his calls less frequent. Meanwhile, Ryan stayed the same, devoted, kind and completely unaware of how far I'd drifted, until one day he wasn't unaware anymore. I slipped. I left my phone out and Ryan saw a message from Alex. He didn't confront me right away, but I could feel the shift in the air. Something inside him changed. A week later, I left for another work trip. When I came back, Ryan was gone. All that was left was a note. It said, "I know. Don't call. Don't text. I need time." That was the last real conversation we ever had. Alex faded out completely. Ryan disappeared into a new life, and I was left alone with silence, an empty house, and the consequences of my choices. Months later, I heard from mutual friends that Ryan had transferred to another city, gotten promoted, started dating again. Within 2 years, he was remarried, happy, thriving. And me, I was left with nothing but regret. I had traded a steady, genuine love for a handful of weekends that felt like an escape. I told myself I wanted freedom, passion, adventure. What I ended up with was loss. Some mistakes don't come with second chances.